Babe of the day. Babe of the day. Centerfold. This was a Dutch female pop trio that was successful in the Netherlands from the mid to late 1980s. They were a pretty hot act. All three were beautiful women who wore skimpy outfits while they sang and danced. Their first single was Bad Boy in 1984. This was a success, and they quickly did a photo shoot for the Dutch version of Playboy magazine. They performed the song almost entirely naked on the popular TV music show Top Pop in the Netherlands, using props to hide some of the good stuff. Usually, though, they started off with attractive outfits and just stripped down to their lingerie. Musically, there was no reason why they should have been kept out of the American mainstream. This was exactly the sound that everyone was going for at the time. The girls were good singers, and they looked gorgeous. There were a lot of great international acts back then that never saw the light of day in America. In another video, I talk about the Italian singer Sabrina Salerno, another girl who should have had a chance in the States. The problem may have come from the fact that girls like Centerfold and Sabrina were too hot. That isn't a bad thing at all, but American record companies had an awful lot of money behind their girl singers, and there was a lot riding on them to be successful. These outside acts made most American singer girls look like cold potatoes. Be honest with yourself. If you saw Centerfold on a TV show in America, would you want to watch Madonna or the majority of girl singers who were popular over here at the time? Centerfold always went with a sex kitten image. They never tried to be serious artists. Their music was typical of the 1980s decade, very much a product of its time. If you like the sound of 1980s pop, you'll like Centerfold's music. Their act is not highbrow by any means, but there was some talent to it. They were good singers and had good backing musicians. I liked their song Bad Boy, but honestly, their music got even more polished as they went on. They were a legitimate singing group, and not just models tossed in front of a microphone. They released more singles and were a sexy sensation in the Netherlands and other European countries. But their real breakthrough came in 1986 with their biggest hit single, Dictator. That same year, they had other big songs with Up and Coming and a cover version of Radar Love. The two guys from ABBA wrote a song for them in 1987 called Bitch When I See Red. That same year, the girls came out with their first album, Man's Ruin. Their album did okay, but it was the group's singles that did really well. In 1988, Cecilia de la Rey left the group. She was replaced by a new girl, Sandra Noche. They came out with the single Money that did well enough on the charts. In 1989, they came out with one more single, Play the Game, that did pretty well. Shortly after its release, however, Sandra committed suicide. This ended the group completely. The shame of it for Centerfold is that they had already recorded an album with Sandra called Whistling at the Wolves. The album was forever shelved by the record company. It was hard to sell an album when one of the girls killed herself. How would they have even toured to promote it? As a duo? Or with another new girl? The remaining two girls, Rowan Moore and Laura Fygi, started a group called The Backlot. They made one album and two singles before calling it quits. Cecilia's luck wasn't much better. She started a group called Red Cinder and released one mini-album in 1992. Laura Fygi eventually became a successful jazz singer. Rowan Moore went on to become a television moderator for VPRO, a Dutch public TV broadcaster, and also commercial television. Centerfold's life was short, but they were successful in their 5-year run. It's unfortunate that the group fell apart like it did, but the impression they left on the world back then still holds strong today. Centerfold was not a pompous act. They weren't trying to force a message down our throats or be artsy. These girls simply wanted to entertain by strutting their stuff and trying to make the best music they could with the then current sound. Each and every one of the 4 members, you can't forget Sandra, rate highly as a babe of the day, babe of the day,